Alright, we're back for looking at translating Chinese culture, chapter 2 this time, which talks about Chinese characters. The section on women's writing jumped out at me. And the reason it jumped out, okay, so, first, the background. So women's writing is a kind of calligraphy that was practiced only by women in one or another part of China, and it's, dying or dead art now. And it's, the terms used to describe it tend to be unfairly, I think this is what unfairly the kind of terms we associate with women and femininity, rather than actually describing the characters. To put, that's my executive summary of the issue here. So someone who didn't know a female had drawn it might say, "Oh, good bold line at the top there," whereas someone knowing, "Oh, this is female script. Oh, a slender, a pregnant line, pregnant with possibilities," or something like that. And how much do we keep that voice? Whose voice are we translating? Of course, it depends on what the guy's paying you for, right? Whoever's paying you, they get to tell you what voice they want the document in. Your job is to do what the guy's paying you to do, or the girl. Your job is not to do. If they say to you, "Please express this in the most beautiful words you can," then that's your job. But I personally don't think our job is to kind of educate people or tone things down. And I know a lot of let's say I have now come to terms with words like fireman, and I realise that, of course, firefighters can be women, absolutely, and I'm sure there's many very, very good firefighters who are female. And calling them firemen kind of excludes a whole bunch of talented people from the pool. So let's just get in the habit of saying firefighter. It's no skin off my nose either way, right? So just say firefighter. And if I'm translating a document and it says fireman, if I choose to translate that as firefighter, I'm kind of giving that writer a kind of pass. I'm saying, "Oh, well, you don't know it, but in my culture, we now say firefighter because we've got a lot of great female firefighters and we don't want to exclude them. So I'm going to translate your word as firefighter, not fireman." But on the other hand, if you translate it as fireman, then the female firefighter who reads the article is going to feel excluded. So, and it may well be that the original writer, say in China, maybe now it's different, but certainly in the 70s and 80s, I doubt there were that many female firefighters, even though they have a kind of neutral word. I'm sure they, in their head, were thinking of males rather than females. Yeah, so it's an interesting decision, and that decision, there's no right or wrong answer. It's a combination of, at the end of the day, doing what the client needs you to do and conveying what the text needs to convey. And if seeing the word fireman will throw a reader out of the text, then maybe you have to keep them and create this kind of additional barrier to understanding, because they'll go, "Oh, he said man, why? What's wrong with female firefighters?" Then you don't want to do that. But on the other hand, if saying firefighter would throw your readers out of the text, then say fireman. That's my view. If that's what the source says, our job is to because when you translate, you're taking a document that was written for one culture and putting it in another. You've already added this layer of confusion and misunderstanding. By moving it, you've already put it into a foreign environment. So every single word choice, every single comma and full stop and capital letter, if you add to that confusion, because it's gone from being 2 out of 10 confusing to a Chinese reader, just by moving it, even if it was the best translation possible, it'd be a 7 out of 10 confusing, because it's in a whole different culture and different readers. And now you followed the grammar a bit too closely. Now it's an 8 out of 10 confusing, So yeah, I would say understanding of the source text is my guide through questions like fireman, firefighter. And the same thing, if I was translating an article about women's writing and the writer had deliberately used, basically sexist terms, let's put it bluntly, well, my job is to use the terms they used unless it disconnects the reader from the document. All right, just some thoughts. Thanks.